Hi there, Maureen from Color Me Positive PLR, and I'm just going to give you a short video on how to put your coloring book together. Okay, I'm going to attach a file that Diane did in terms of bleed, and that will let you know what size you need to make your coloring book if you're going to include backgrounds that go from top to bottom and side to side, completely covering the page. What I'm going to do is just have an 8.5 by 11 book with no bleed. So I'll show you how to do that. Okay, so first you just want to start and create a new document, and then you're going to want to go to Design, Slide Size, Custom Slide Size, and I want it to be 8.5 inches by 11. Okay, now I want to know that I'm going to be okay and stay within the lines within the book so it doesn't go off the edge or I get flagged by Amazon when I upload it that I don't have a bleed, but I have something bleeding over where they're going to be cutting it. So I just create margins of 0.5 inches on all sides and top and bottom. And how I make sure that I do stay within the lines, I just come up here. You see when you see these two arrows over this line, the guides, I hold down my Shift Control key and drag this over to 3.75. All right, do the same thing on the other side. Shift Control 3.75, and then I'm going to come down to the center guide, hold down Shift Control, drag it to the top to 5.0, and do the same on the bottom. Shift Control, drag it down to 5.0. So now I know I need to keep any images that I'm going to be using within these lines here, and then I'll be fine when I do upload it. Okay, so normally on the first page what I do is I insert the name of the coloring book or other things like this coloring book was colored by. So what I'm going to be doing, I think I'm going to be doing a Christmas coloring book. So, and I'm going to call it Christmas Cuties. So I'm just going to leave that there because I'm going to want to make that a little bit more funky. So I might do something in Photoshop, maybe create an image to go here, and then I will put one of the pictures that I'm going to have in the coloring book, one of the images, I'll put that on this page as well. Okay, and then on the next page I'm going to insert a new slide, blank slide, and here I would probably put a little text box with maybe some copyright information. So, and I'd make that really small on the bottom of the page. Okay, you might also want to put here maybe a little explanation about how if they want to keep markers and other such as like instruments from bleeding through on the pages, because Amazon's or KDP's pages for coloring books are not really thick, you know, so if they're using crayons or colored pencils and things like that, it's not so bad. But if they use markers or maybe watercolor, depending, you know, everybody colors differently, they'll need to put a page behind the coloring image. So you might want to put a little explanation there and let them know if you want to cut this out and frame it, then put a page behind so it doesn't bleed through to the next image. Alright, so that's totally up to you though. Okay, so this will be your first page, which is when you open the book, that'll be on the right side, and this one over here will be on the left side. So your first coloring book image is going to go on the right side of the next page. So this one, right? So I'm going to come in here and I'm just going to put in some things. Okay, now see, this image fits perfectly within the space, right? So I don't really have to do anything with it, although I will come back and probably add another image to it, or a background in terms of like a mandala maybe, or something to differentiate it. All right, now you're going to come back up here, insert another blank page, and this one you're going to leave blank, okay, because this is the page that will be behind this page. So people will be coloring on this, so you don't want to put another image right behind this page, because if it does bleed through, it's going to ruin the other picture for them. So you do that, you insert a blank page, then you're going to come back and insert another blank page, and on this one you'll insert another of your coloring images. Okay, and then you just keep doing that until you have all of your images that you want in your coloring book. So we want to insert another blank page, and again, because this page will be going behind this, you'll leave it blank. So just insert another one, and on that one you add another coloring image. Okay, and so on and so on and so on, right? So that page will remain blank. You'll add a new one and put another coloring image on that. Okay, so you want to keep these. We were talking about this on the call. Folks were asking how many pages per book, that type of thing. So if it's a coloring book and it's for children, which this one will be, I won't make it more than 30 pages, and more likely I'll make it 25. So that'll create a 50-page book, right? Because you're going to have those blank pages in there as well. Now, I do that because, first of all, it's children, and they don't appreciate a 100-page book, you know, with images. Adults might, but even then, they prefer 25 to 30, I think, from my experience anyway. So I would make it 25, 30 images max. Now, if you're creating an activity book and you want to include coloring images and Sudoku puzzles and trace the image dot to dot, you can make it a bit larger. But again, I would not make it more than 100 pages. Okay, because at 100 pages and over, it starts getting difficult to open the coloring books and kind of lay them out flat so that you're able to color everywhere, you know. So if this is on the inside, right, I mean, if this is on the right side, but if it was on the left side of the page, well, even here, so here, if the book is too thick, so when you turn the page over, it's going to be difficult to color this part because it's going to be so sloped in the middle. People will get frustrated. So 100 pages is the max I've ever really done for a coloring book. Now, for just a complete Sudoku or a puzzle book or something like that, you could make it bigger. It's not so difficult if you have to, you know, crunch down the book in order to be able to write on it. Okay, so that we talked about it, and it makes sense to me. But you can basically do whatever you like, right? So you're going to do that, put it all together, okay? And we were talking about bleed. So say you want to, here, another blank page, I leave that blank, add another one, okay? So if you want to, say, put in a background, which is going to make it bleed, because it's going to go straight to the edges, right? It can go above or below as well, you know. So what you want to do is this will no longer be an 8.5 by 11 page. You're going to need to make it 8.625 by 11.25. Okay, and I'm going to include a text file here that you can download so that you'll have that information. Diane was very sweet. She put that together. I put it into a PDF file so you can just download it and keep it and check it when you need it, in terms of if you need it for bleed. So that'll work. If you have bleed in your book and you've not been putting it at that size, you may have had problems uploading it to KDP. So you'll want to do that. Make it 8.625 by 11.25. So it's basically you're adding 0.125 to the width and 0.25 to the height of any size book, right? So it would be 6.125 for a 6 by 9, 6.125 by 9.25, okay, if you're using bleed in the 6 by 9 book. And that's another thing we talked about, was the size of your coloring book. Like I said, it basically I do 8.5 by 11 because they are coloring books, so you want to give people enough room and make the pictures big enough so it's interesting to color. I've done a few smaller books like the 6 by 9 because it sounds good. Let me take a pocketbook, throw it in my purse, you know, and whatever, with a few crayons and stuff, but it doesn't really work out. They haven't really sold that well for me, so. But the 8.5 by 11 has, so I don't spend too much time on the 6 by 9, but it might work for you. So give it a try because it's free to put up, and you never know, it might take off. You know, especially now when we have to go places and wait, people might just want to, you know, doodle and stuff. Okay. So basically that's it. Someone was saying too, and I think I did this, but I don't think I ever uploaded it. That people are creating like the back of the page, right? So this is the front, the right side, this is the back, the left side, are making this, black, you know, they're actually making it black. So let's just see solid fill and we can make it black. Okay, so you would do that. You would come to format design and then go over to format background, solid fill, and change the color to black. I don't know I've how well it looks or how good it looks because I haven't created one, uploaded it, and then ordered it. So it might be really cool. I might give that a try actually and order one just to see what it looks like. And that might help with the bleed through too. Well, not really, because the page is still the same, right? It's still the same thickness. So the back would be black, and it might not show through if you used a marker on the black background, but it would show through on the next page, I think, same way. So that's why you usually suggest to them to put paper behind the page they're coloring or to cut it out, right? Now, what else did we talk about? Not sure. Well, a couple of people asked about putting patterns into images and different things like that. So what I did is I went and checked out my YouTube channel, which has a bunch of videos there, so if you want to go see that, I'll put a link to that too. But I did put a link to a few different videos that will show you different things, like how to create I think there's like 4 or 6 different activity pages that you can create yourself. And I used for those 2 videos, I used a package that Sue and I did last year, the Christmas bundle that we did. It's really cool. So I put those links in there if you wanted to create some activity pages of your own, as well as how to use some of the assets that I've done lately, especially the horses, the wedding dresses, where I've created the image, the JPEG image, with a transparency in the middle where you could just drag it into PowerPoint and then put a design or pattern behind it. And I think I included a video showing you how to use Photoshop, or I think you can actually do it in Photopea as well, which is an online online equivalent of Photoshop if you don't have Photoshop, how to put two different patterns into one image. So if you're looking for ways to differentiate your coloring pages, that'll give you some ideas. Okay. Now, the coloring book, once I'm done with it, I go to File. Like I would put all my pictures in. I don't put anything on the back page. I never have. I don't know if some others do. They might. You could put in maybe, I don't know, pictures or something. I really don't know. But for the cover, we're going to be going over that tomorrow. Or actually, no, I'm going to do that Friday. I'm going to have to change that. I have something to do with the grandson tomorrow, so I'm sorry about that. I totally blanked on it, so I'm going to need to switch the call from tomorrow to Friday. So we'll go over the cover, how to do one in PowerPoint, and save it, and the sizing, and all that great stuff. Okay, so. And I usually on the cover I'll put images, like I might take this and another and this one and create a page, put a shadow on it, put it on the back of the book so that they have something to look at, they can see it. Because oftentimes with KDP, if you have a small book, say 25, it's 50 pages, you put 25 images in, you might only, when you get the look inside option, they might only be able to see one or two images, right? So for those books, I always put images on the back, sometimes even on the front, that they're going to be able to color. So we'll go over that on Friday. Okay, so that's pretty much it. And if you want to save it, you go save as Adobe PDF if you want. Okay, I'm going to have to save. I'm just going to put it here. You have to save it first. I don't even look at this really. Because oftentimes what I do, you can save it as Adobe PDF, but I usually go to export. I have to wait till this is done. Didn't like me touching it. Okay? And that will save your book as a PDF. So you can do it that way, or I think this. Sometimes I'll go to print, right? And I don't use Adobe PDF for some reason. I use the Cute PDF writer. Always have. So you can use Adobe PDF and then go in, and then I come in here and make sure that it's letter size. Okay, so that's perfect. That's what I want. And then I click on print, and it should bring up a box asking me where I want to save it. Here we go. Okay. And it should open once it's done. So, I mean, whatever way you save, because I know most of you have created at least one book. So, however you save them, do it your way, right? Sometimes I'll do export. So, it really, and I'll create. So, depending. I remember at one time there was a problem with actually saving a PDF file. It took forever, no matter which way you did it. So there was an update that took care of it eventually, but okay. So that's what you're going to do. And like I said, we'll go over the book cover on Friday. And the Tuesday coming up, okay, we're going to have our book covers ready and have our interiors ready. And we'll go over how to upload to KDP. All right, so on Tuesday, we should be able to have a book up, all of us, all right, whoever's following along. All right, so anyway, I'm going to send this out now, and I'll talk to you soon.